don't give anyone ideas or hints or anything about that, because people will move against you. It's in their nature. It's in our nature. We're humans. We're inherently selfish. And as long as you understand that, then you'll be able to move in silence properly. What's up, tribe? Brendan here. Coming back to you on a dreadfully dreary day, but still get my hike in. But obviously I'm here to talk to you about something different, and that is to always grind in silence. And to be honest with you, forget grinding in silence, act in silence. Now let me elaborate on that. So, don't be telling people what you do. Don't be telling people what you're gonna do. Tell them where you've been. And tell them what you've accomplished, obviously. But don't let people know your next move. Unless they're extremely close. And I mean extremely close. And sometimes even then, sometimes it's just best in general to just move and act in silence. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First off is most people are just nosy. So most people are just nosy. Or they're just trying to be nice. It's a combination of the two. So they're asking, oh, what are you doing nowadays? Where do you work and all that stuff? And it's like, you don't really have to tell them, especially if you tell them you're doing something big. Like, I mean, most people don't just don't do big things in their life, period. And you tell them you're doing something big, either they're going to get jealous, or they're going to try to convince you to not do something big. And they'll try to convince you to not do something big for one of two reasons. One is because they don't think it's possible. And first off, you didn't ask them, right? You didn't ask them. So second off, actually boils back to the other reason that I was saying before, is jealousy. They're mad that you have the balls, or the gumption, I should say. You have the gumption to be able to pull it off, or at least attempt to pull it off, and they did not. So people will just try to tell you not to do things. They'll put mental roadblocks in your way, and it might be sound advice what they're saying, so you can take certain weight into it, but at the same time, what I see with people like that is that it's reasons why they couldn't do it, and it's reasons why they think it would fail. And you shouldn't always take that in, because they're pretty much projecting their own insecurities onto you. It's pretty much what it comes down to with stuff like that, because realistically, you can do anything you want that you put your mind to. It's really just how it goes. And if you let someone else tell you that you can't do it, then you can't do it, because you just let someone else tell you that. But you can go and do it, all this stuff. I can't tell you, I'm not gonna lie. For years, I had people tell me when I was writing my book, and I was naive, and I didn't take the advice that I'm giving you right now. Tell them how it goes, and being like, oh, you know, it's a little bit of a struggle, and be like, oh, you're never going to get anywhere with that, you're never going to do any of this, all this stuff. And I did, and once I did, people applauded me, congratulated me, all that good jazz. But I guarantee you, before that even happened, they were talking shit behind my back, being like, wow, look at Brendan, he's such an idiot trying to write a book, you know, he's never going to get anywhere in life like that, all this stuff. They'll say anything. And that comes to another reason why you just grind in silence, because people want to know about you just so they could talk smack about you. It's sad, and I've never really been this way, but that's what people like to do. It's all small town nonsense, like, and I hate to say it like that, because there's some plenty of good things to be said about a small town, but this is not one of them. Just people wanting to talk smack, and just say things about someone else just so they make themselves feel better. And that's also why they'll try to get you to not do something, because it'll make themselves feel better about being a failure. Not to say that they're exactly a failure, but like, they weren't. You have the gumption to chase after your dreams, but they didn't. And in their eyes, that's a failure, like deep down in their subconscious level. And they're not wrong. And if you tell people that you're doing something and you do fail, so some of those people will be the first ones to be like, see, I told you so, all this, everything, throw the book at you, I told you so, told you it wasn't going to work out, laugh in your face, mock you. And those aren't real good friends, and those aren't real people you should be telling anything to anything to them to begin with. Where a real friend, at least one of the characteristics of them, is that they might give you a little "I told you so," but they'll do it in a way, and they'll pick you up. They'll be there to pick you up, man. And that's why. And even then, sometimes, like even with friends, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes the point I was getting to was that you should even keep that kind of stuff from your friends. Especially you're trying to make some really crazy moves, and you're trying to do some make or break in a sense kind of things. Is because you wouldn't believe how much your friends are jealous of you. They're your friends. Some people are your friends because they can say they're better than you, and subconsciously it's a way for them to be above you. But once they see that you're making progress in front of them, they'll get mad. That's what happens. They get mad and they get jealous, and they're like, wow, he can't be better than me. I've sat on my high horse, all this stuff. And he's always been worse than me, he or she. But now they're getting better than me. Like, I can't let this happen. And your friends will actively try to sabotage you. Not even self-sabotage you. I've had friends actively try to sabotage me. Do it in the shadows, obviously. And just doing some other stuff that I wasn't aware of until at later times. But I found out truth always comes to light. I mean, that's why it's always good to be honest with everything. That's a completely different conversation for a completely different day. Because today we're talking about grinding in silence. But don't let anyone know your next move. People will literally, especially if they're trying to manipulate you, they want to know your next move so they could plan around it or dump you off. And I mean, even when it comes to basic mundane shit, I've had people that were like, oh, my boss is my best friend, and they were talking about how much they hated their job to their boss, and I was like, are you serious? Like, your boss, your manager is a person too, don't get me wrong, and you could have a beer with them outside of work, but even outside of work, and I apologize, I'm out of breath from doing that, even outside of work, you should not be talking to them about that, because he has his own best interest in mind, as do you. Do you think he's going to allow you to work there and then just dip out and leave him hanging high and dry? No, it's not how it's going to work, my friend. What's going to happen is he's going to end up leaving you high and dry, and that's why you move in silence until you have to say something about it. Like with a job, you put in your 2 weeks. Don't be a jerk. Unless you really seriously have to go. Because, I mean, I've had instances of that too, where I've been like, this is not good for me to be here for my own mental health, or because I felt physically endangered, had to leave. And that's a whole different story entirely from this, but you give in your 2 weeks. You tell your landlord that you're moving within the proper allotted time, but don't give anyone ideas or hints or anything about that, because people will move against you. It's in their nature. It's in our nature. We're humans. We're inherently selfish, and as long as you understand that, then you'll be able to move in silence properly. So, to recap, move in silence. Even people you don't think are working against your best interests can and will work against your best interests. And the less people know, quite frankly, the better. That's how I see it now. That's how I've always seen it. Well, actually, I can't even say I've always seen it like that, because there have been plenty of times, especially like I said when I was talking about my book, or when I was writing my book in the beginning, I've been very honest with people, and I've been honest and open with a lot of people, and people I shouldn't have, and it's ended up screwing me over. And I don't want you guys, as part of the tribe, to have to deal with that nonsense, because if I didn't tell everyone things, or a lot of people things, and I kept my stuff a little bit more private, one, add to the mysteriousness of me, and two, I would have went through a lot less heartbreak with a lot of things. Not even like relationship wise, I mean even relationship wise, because of oh boy, had someone who was a friend, but the same thing, is like friend but working in his best interest, not mine, and would say that I'm interested in some chick, and he would go and soup it, or go and bed her, just so he could get there first. And it's like, damn, it's like he always wanted me to have the sloppy seconds at best, like some craziness, man. But there's crazy people out there. So long story short, grind in silence. Don't tell anyone the moves you're making. Go for what you want. And if you have that one person that you can trust, tell them. But even then, don't tell them everything. Because one thing that I did not add already is not only about the physical stuff, but the spiritual and everything. All that is, you tell people about your plans and what you're planning on doing, and they're doubters. Like, and I don't know what you guys believe, but I do believe that the body emits energetic fields, and that's where the whole manifesting and magic stuff comes from. But they can put their energetic field into yours and sabotage you spiritually, causing you to fail. I've seen it happen. I've seen it done, where everything was going good until I told someone, then it just blew up because they were a doubter, and they kept on putting their energy into my energy field, and it didn't end up well. So, alright guys, if you like the content, please like it. If you didn't like it, dislike it. Comment down below. If you have some comments, questions, concerns, anything, just write them down there. I'll answer you as fast as I possibly can. And subscribe to get more of the Lost Tribe. And also share this. Ooh, stinking rock. Share this if you think this will help someone. And definitely, though, seriously comment. Like, if you think there's something I should change about the way I put this stuff out there, or what I talk about, because if you have any suggestions on topics, I will definitely talk about them. So, on that note, guys, this is Brendan, Lost Tribe. Peace out.